positivity or something going on. For them. Now see, notice I said for them. I'm not talking about negative and positive and toxic and all that horse shit. I'm not talking about that stuff, because that's how you take it as your preference. If it's something that you don't agree with, then it's toxic. If it's something that you agree with, then, you know, it's positive. Like, so you can't be calling people's opinions toxic and negative and positive and this. And I'm seeing so much going on right now with a lot of the hardcore gamers that have done YouTubes and built their challenge, their communities around certain emotions, certain feelings, and fortunately, I didn't start this whole thing as a you know, online and all this other stuff. But the thing is that I went through this change myself about this whole kind of, you know, all Xbox, and then just kind of just going, dude, it's the Titanic, man. And that takes a lot out of a company who makes games, a company that makes games, to have people just kind of like 180 on them. Like this, what I'm seeing right now, and I think a lot of it is triggered something after this E3, but what I'm seeing right now is just a lot of just kind of like hands up in the air, like, yo, I'm done. And this is not like, oh, you know, it's a little bit of a dry spell, I'm gonna go play some games elsewhere and stuff. These are people just picking up and going, you know what, I'm taking myself, my money, and I'm going over to the other team. And you have to do a lot as a major corporation to do that to your dedicated fan base that has been with you for so long. And it happened to me because I just became fed up with it. And I kept both of them, and I was playing on both of them. But every single time something that I wanted to be positive, or something I was like, oh, this Xbox, let me do, it just was that Microsoft wasn't growing up with it. And I think with a lot of people out there, to the gamer, they're not growing up with them. Their hopes and dreams and what they want, it's not what the company sees as successful anymore. And I think it's a tough pill to swallow. And this is really just a true, honest thing. This is no, like, joke. This is serious. This is, like, honest, like, stuff. Like, this is what my opinion is on this whole thing and kind of what has gone on. And I can't speak for everybody that's out there, but I'm seeing the kind of the similar emotions that I had, you know, and one of the things that does grind my gears, I'm going to say this right now, is that, you know, not one game. But anyway, the thing is that in order to gain gamers' respect, you got to release games, right? And you got to know how to market those games. Simple as that. And Microsoft's having a hard time because everything that they're doing, every feature that they're announcing, every message and every interview that Phil and company have, it's about everything else except the core gamer. That's the problem. And I see people, I don't know. I don't know what's going on playing Xbox. I have no clue. That was the first time I saw that tweet. I was like, oops. I was like, what happened? I was like, what happened? Oh no, I don't have no clue. I didn't know that. That was news to me. But the thing is with the and you know, it all kind of goes into like, what is Xbox? You know, Yabara got that question when he said, "Oh, the Xbox, the dashboard or the Xbox gaming tab or whatever like that." You hit the game bar. Oh, we call it Xbox, and people are like, "Well, what is Xbox?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's anything that we do with gaming. It's a brand. It's just." You don't do that, because guess what? Without your core audience, what's up, Glorious Man? How you doing? Without addressing your core audience, the brand is worth shit.
This Euro stuff has its limits. I need a vacation. Oh, shit! 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 Shit!
Shit.
Shit!
Like, you don't have a brand if you leaving your core behind. That's the thing. There is no brand. So whatever socks and onesies and body wash and t-shirts and features and stuff like that you want to label as Xbox, there is no brand. And actually, it was an interesting quote that Phil had here. I was listening to some old, like, these things popping up in my feed from like some old interviews of Phil Spencer. In 2016, he had a happy hour with IGN, and I want to hear.
It's not a bond, no. Is it?
They talk about his representation, and hear what he says.
Is it Bond?
No. Sagebrush blowing around, and that's.
I'm gonna get to it.
They love the brand.
Yeah. Some record labels are like.
Yeah.
Or do you get used to it?
No. I on my Twitter handle, I write this kind of corny phrase that says I'm kind of defined more by what I do than who I am, and I don't actually know where that comes from, but to me, it's just well, and it's like people. Xbox fans love the head of Xbox. I happen to be the head of Xbox now. I won't be the head of Xbox forever. They love the brand. They love what we're doing with the product. And you know what you talk about, and at least the way I hear it is, like, I understand it's not me, right? I'm the lucky person that happens to have the job for the product that they love so much, and you can't let it become about you. And I think if for me, that's something I think about a lot. I know when I'm not doing this job, the @Xbox P3 Twitter handle will be kind of the sagebrush blowing around, and that's cool, right? That's what it's about. And I'm always I was at the Brazil game show last year, and
see, Phil even says it himself. It's not about him. It's not about him. And he's like, the fans love the brand. Now, this was back in 2016 that he did this interview. It's not about the brand. It's about the brand. It's not about him. He's like, people will love whoever the head of Xbox because you're the head of the thing that I love. So this gravitation towards Phil is just natural because they love the brand so much that whoever's the head of that brand is basically a rock star, you know? So, but that was in 2016, and I listened to a lot of that interview, and a lot of that interview, ow, shit, but a lot of that interview was a lot of the things that they were doing, looking for groups, stuff like that. It was 2016. They just announced Play Anywhere, and now we were talking that. They announced the Play Anywhere stuff, and now people are like, well, what's this PC stuff? And they're like, oh, but it's Windows 10. It's still the Xbox brand and all this other stuff. Well, 3 years later, dudes, you know. Thanks, Meds. You know, the thing is like, now we're here 3 years later, and we're going on Steam. That's not Xbox brand, but it's tied with Xbox Live, so I guess that's the tie-in. But, you know, everybody's like, well, Windows 10 is just, it's the same thing as Xbox. It's the same thing. And really, now it's changed again. And the brand becomes so many other things to this that it's sort of like, well, what, as a gamer, what am I rooting for? Like, what is success for me? And as a gamer, the biggest success is getting great games. And that has been lacking, as we know, for the last 2 to 3 years. Like, the last decent game that came out, besides your Forzas every year, which are polished, great racing games. Beyond that, it was Gears 4. Like, Sea of Thieves was polished, but there was nothing in it. And that had an NDA for over a year. Crackdown was a disaster.
Place looks like a fucking crack house.
Crackdown 3 was a disaster, and that was Phil's baby. That was his call to arms. Yeah, when you look at where are my tweets? There we go. Yeah, here it is. So, here's my reply. Son of a bitch. Let's take a look back at some classic highlights. Yeah. I'll bring it up here, what I wrote. This is specifically about this article. Yeah, I'll show my screen. So specifically about this, make sure it's shown. Here we go. Bit about the article. So, about the Game Pass being a decent model and not getting paid enough from the CEO, right? So, what I said was, he says that the model that Game Pass does not use is that they don't pay gamers on engagement. So, like, if you click on a game and he's saying, like, their games get played a lot, and if their games get played a lot, they should get according pay based on the amount of engagement that the player is clicking on their game in Game Pass. So if there's 100 games in Game Pass and you just happen to be clicking on these games and these games are gaining more traffic in Game Pass, that developer should get paid more money than somebody who's just in there. Now, I don't know. Microsoft is not paying that way. He's saying the way Netflix pays, and that's how Spotify pays. If your song gets listened to a lot, you get paid more money per listen. But if you're Netflix, they basically give you the value of what they think your thing is. Like, yeah, this is what we think this is what we think your game's gonna do. And I think that's kind of what Microsoft's doing. But again, a lot of criticism in the fact that this is an early service. Microsoft's still trying to coerce and get people into their Game Pass subscription, and you can tell they're not getting big AAA games in there. They're getting games that did not do too well and sold at retail, and then they're also getting a lot of indie games in there. And then the other ones that are anything worth discussing are really just the Microsoft first-party games. If you're talking about Halo and Gears, and all those other ones, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, those, Crackdown 3. Oh my goodness. So, what I thought was interesting was that. This was my other tweet about it. No, I tweeted about it earlier. This was the one. What I find interesting is that Microsoft don't pay the dev per engagement with the game in Game Pass. But as we've said so many times on here, engagement is the primary measure of how Microsoft values its worth and success to their investors. It's about engagement. Don't take my word for it.
How important is market share versus Nintendo and versus Sony's PlayStation?
The two metrics I really look at in the growth of this business is engagement of players. How many monthly active players do you have across any device? And what does your software and service revenue look like for those players?
See, the guy asked the question, what is your market share as opposed to Nintendo and Sony? He knows that his market share sales of console versus them two, they can't hold the candle to it. It's like over 2-1. So he can't look at it as like we are like third in the market. We are last. He has to change the game, move the goalpost. So he chooses to choose engagement. Right? I spelled it wrong. It is. So if Phil values engagement as the primary measure of how they value worth and success to their investors, then don't you think that should be pay it forward? That success and value should be also given to the developers. Don't you think, right? If I'm going to use how many people clicked on your game as engagement judgment, say, hey, this many people engaged with this person's game, then that dev should get more. That dev should get paid more. And also, that will ensure that devs will put better quality into Game Pass because they want to get more clicks. They want to get more engagement because then they will get paid better. But when Microsoft just says, yeah, I'm looking at your game, it has a Bambi in it. Yeah, I'll give you $1 million. All right. That's it. Now, if that game picks up in Game Pass and takes off, the dev doesn't get any more money. Or it brings in a bunch of new subscribers. Nope. Microsoft, that's how much we're going to give you for that game. Blanket. It's shady. And they're not getting paid enough. This is the bullshit. And this is what I said. Do we need this? Core audience, do we need this headache? Do we need Microsoft not paying devs for Game Pass? Do we need to say it's not optimized for PC? It's not optimized for Windows 10. Oh, the mods don't work. Oh, the field of view. Do we need this? Do we need to be concerned? But guess what? As a console gamer on an Xbox, you do. Because that mind share that would focus into you, the person who spends the most and pays the most. It has to be now handled with all this other bullshit.
If someone owns a phone and doesn't want to go buy a console, we still want them to be able to play our games. Bring the services like our video distribution through Mixer, Xbox Live, Minecraft, as we talked about.
Who cares? Why are we wasting all this energy in something that is such exploratory and you're not satisfying the people at home? The people who built your house, the people who are currently living in your house and paying for your electric and paying for your gas. Why are you screwing the people under the Xbox roof? Why? To go leave that home and worry about people on phones. Remember Kinect? Oh, Kinect is going to take off because Kinect doesn't have the barrier of a controller. Well, all of a sudden now the controller is not a barrier anymore, so the person playing Panda Pop on their phone is just going to know what to do with an Xbox One controller. The person playing tap screen, some little games and Angry Birds on their phone, they know what to do with an Xbox controller. What happened to the controller is the point of barrier of entry. You too, Stadia. All those dudes you got playing on Panda Pops and the Wars and all that other stuff, Glorious Wars, whatever the hell they call those games, Tap and Goes and Pokemon Goes and all that shit. They're ready to play with a 12-button controller, analog sticks. What happened to the controller was the barrier of entry. Now all of a sudden $60 is a barrier of entry. Oh, is it? Yeah. It is a barrier of entry when you got the free games and $60 games. Nobody's gonna pay $60. And now we look at Game Pass.
It has been 6 years since the gaming Grindhouse.
The problem Microsoft has is that third party is not going to put their games in Game Pass day one. EA's not doing it. Ubi's not doing it. They're not doing it. And Microsoft will have to pay an arm and a leg for a game like that. Because nobody's going to devalue their game and put it in a subscription unless it's their own subscription, unless they're making all their money back that they're putting into it. They're not going to take their games and put it into somebody else's subscription. So Microsoft now has to build this Xbox Game Pass service on their own back. It puts a lot of pressure on them because they have to bear the backing of this Xbox Game Pass. It puts pressure on them. It puts pressure on them to deliver quality and content to get people sustained and subscribed on Game Pass. That's what it does. What's up, Bows? How you doing, man? Exactly. They're feeding the neighbors' kids while their own kids go hungry. That's right, Glinda. They're feeding the neighbors' kids while their kids go hungry. You take care of your own first. Then you go out. You take care of, because guess what? You go out, you don't take care of your home. What happens when you come home? Who's there? Come back to an empty house. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing the house starting to empty out. The Xbox house is starting to empty out. Because Microsoft is not feeding it's not taking care of their home. That's why the 360 they were okay. They took care of their own. They doubled down on Xbox Live. They made Xbox Live a value. Better than the competition. They made games have features. 1 versus 100 programming. They had arcade games, retro arcade games, Xbox Live Arcade. They had indies. They had everything. They put it about the games. So when they started putting games for Windows and all that other shit, nobody cared because know why? They were taking care of their own. They were taking care of their home. So when they went out and just did other shit, just like Nintendo, they gave you all the Mario games. They're giving you Luigi's Mansion. Okay, go make Mario Run. Who cares? Go ahead. Go make Mario Run. What does it matter to me? As long as I'm getting Luigi's Mansion, Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Galaxy, like, what does it matter? Sony going, yo, we're making an Uncharted movie. Get ahead. I don't care. Make an Uncharted movie. You gave me Uncharted Lost Legacy. You gave me Uncharted 4. You're going to give me The Last of Us 2. Like, yeah, go make a friggin' movie. Microsoft. Oh, we're making a Gears comic, a Gears of War movie, and we're going to have some Gears of War cards, and we're going to have Gears this. But why should I be excited for Gears of War? You haven't done anything yet. Gears 4 was safe. Now Gears 5, you haven't showed shit. Why are you talking about a friggin' movie? Oh, and Halo 5 is coming. Oh, and here's the movie about Agent Locke. Here's Locke, and it's like, no. No. No, guys.
No deal.
No deal. If you take care of your home, your respect, the games, you give them respect, you could do anything. That's why people are like, oh, media bias. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, everybody, Sony has delivered some amazing games. Guess what? They're gonna get a pass. They are. They could stick their middle finger out the window. They're gonna get away with it. Because they got some great games that they've released, and it gives them a little bit of immunity. Nintendo could go mess up Sword and Shield and say, oh, well, guess what? Not all the Pokemon are gonna be in there. Oh, shit. People are pissed, but you wanna know what? People are not, they're gonna be pissed off people, but guess what? They're still gonna play it. And they're gonna try to tell them about other things. But you cannot be not giving to your core. Giving us Crackdown 3, a disaster. Game was side missions to bring out 5 bosses, end of day. Done. It was like my first open world game. Horrible. Like after coming off of open world games like Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption, or like even Assassin's Creed, coming off these type of games and then to see Crackdown, it's like, when was this made? What did you do it in 4 months? 5 bosses, do some side missions, and then the boss comes out. No crime, no like random crime events, nothing. Can't even get in a car together in multiplayer co-op. You can't even drive together to a mission. Good job. I don't know who thought of that. And then the multiplayer, the cloud, done. So we get Crackdown. Stay of the case. They should have got Forza. That's it. I'm sorry. You show Bleeding Edge. You don't go show Gears of War campaign and really double down on Gears Showcase at E3. Yeah. You're going to get the smoke. you're going to get a lot more criticism because you haven't delivered in the last 3 years. This is not a few months, dude. This is not a few months. This has been years, in gaming years. Like, this has been like, yo. They released the X with Super Lucky's Tales. Then on top of that, they got Lucky's Tales remastered coming to the Switch, and it looks better than the fucking Xbox One X version. Better lighting, more content. They didn't even put the friggin' update in the X version of Lucky's Tales. Like, is this not joke worthy or not? Like, this is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Ori was announced 3 years ago and still coming out in 2020? What? And what are you gonna do? You're gonna treat that game like Gears of War and Halo? Ori's a great game, but yo, it's not at the same level of Halo. Okay? Ori's nice. But dude, it's not Halo. So please don't go into 2020 going, oh, well, you got Last of Us in February. Ori's coming out in February. I'm done.
I don't think so, sucker.
Major Nelson's like, this is Ori month in February, and they're going to have fucking what? They're going to have like Cyberpunk and Last of Us 2, and Microsoft's going to try to get in there with Ori? Dude, no. Dude.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
That's not a good call. Please. Don't think Ori is going to compete against Last of Us. It's going to get murdered. So please, Phil, if you think that like, oh, yo, we got Ori in the spring. It's like, oh, shit. Dude, no. Ori's not on the level of those games. It's a great game, but it's not that level. And that's the problem. State of K2 was not that level. It was not AAA. So you keep harnessing on, well, we got State of K2, we got Crackdown, State of K2, Sea of Thieves. Like, no, State of K2 should not be in the same language as those. Like, no, that game is a mediocre little middle of the road game. Oh, AAA all the way. No, that's the problem. And there's nothing coming out. Lucky's Tales, like, you don't have the respect from the gamer because you gotta earn it. Just like you stated in a tweet about PC gaming is earned. We're gonna earn it. We're earning this thing. Where's that passion for the console player? Where's that passion? Not, I don't make money on the console. No!
Don't do it! I'm warning you, do not do it!
No, you don't say that. You don't come off E3 stage and go, well, I don't make money on the console. The console's not the business. And then retweet this saying, PC gamers, respect, it's earned. We try, like, oh, like, yeah, we gotta do better. We're gonna win you back. PC gamers, Hey, Phil, what about us on the console? The console's not the business. You don't make money on the console. What? Phil, oh.
My ass hurts just watching this.
I don't play this game.
Like, what? Oh, buy Scarlet next year, though. Whoa, wait, but you said you don't make money on consoles. How are you selling the consoles? You want to hear something funny?
300,000 Brazilians just.
You want to hear something funny?
Xbox One S and Scorpio. And we had a different
2016, guys. Probably the last time you ever hear him say this.
With Scorpio to him, and this again is before E3, well before E3 and all this stuff. And then he looks at me and he said,
Talking about Scorpio and the S.
like that the code name was gonna dig, and I love the fact that Todd was there and that was
October 2016. Remember what was going on here? The Xbox One S was winning NPDs.
Stated on. But he just thought Edmonton was such a lame code name for Xbox One S. The thing I love right now is like the Xbox One S is selling incredibly well, like you said. And he actually did just send me a piece of mail yesterday. He was congratulating me on Forza Horizon because he likes Forza a lot. And we put the Fallout car in Forza Motorsport. Yeah. So like we do a lot of work with them. We're supporting mods and for Fallout and stuff. But he was congratulating, and then at the end he was congratulating me for how Xbox One S is doing. I'm gonna respond
codename Edmonton. And Todd Howard said that was such a lame name for it. And then he says, oh, but it's selling so well. Like, oh, Phil Spencer talking about console sales. That's right, Robert Stevens. Cancel Gold or play on PC. Thanks, Michael. Yep. You know, hey, it grinded my gears, man. And you know, and I think now people are seeing it, and it's probably not listening to me and stuff like that. But I feel this way. I see why people are changing, because I said like this, and I said this before so many times on here. If you bought an Xbox, this was not the future you were signing up for. And I think a lot of people wanted to write it out. A lot of people were denying it. And I think with every news article that comes out and every kind of move that they do and how they are representing their games and how they're speaking to their core console audience, you know, to them, oh, gaming for everyone. And then you got people out there going, oh, well, my game is played on PC, I'm happy. It's like, okay, fine. But then how happy are you about Gears Tactics being built specifically for the PC when you have keyboard and mouse support? How do you feel Age of Empires only go on a PC? Why are those exclusives? What is the purpose of that? There's no technical limitations. Where, like, those games from their first party are not. Why is Gears Pop just not like ported to X? Like these games, there's games that are made on PC and mobile that didn't even come to Xbox from their own studios. That piece of shit Forza Streets, that went everywhere. Android, iOS, Windows 10. But that stupid, silly game didn't even make it to an Xbox. But why? It's your gaming console. No, it's
Why?
Steam now. It's done. So they are just a finger snap away from just going, guys, yeah, those consoles, we're no longer making them anymore. Just like they snapped their fingers with the Kinect port. What happened? And the Kinect adapter. Oh, just like that. No more Kinect. Remember, it sees your heart rate. It tells me if I'm scared.
Oh no, Kinect thinks I'm scared. What's it gonna do? My heart rate's up now.
Yeah, well, snap of a finger. That port's gone. Oh, the adapter, that's gone too. Kinect is dead. They'll do the same snap with the console. Hey, you know what, Scarlett? Only sold 20 million. Hey, you don't know what, guys? This is our last one. Thank you very much. Go buy a PlayStation. Oh, guess what? They did that with Xbox Groove Music. Groove Music. It was Xbox Music Groove. You know what, Groove? We're done. Go sign up to Spotify, guys. Sorry, Groove's done. Thank you. And that's what they're going to do. Once they migrate Xbox Live subscriptions and they put it under there, just like a $5 throwaway, and they make Xbox Live kind of under the radar, get it in there, and they get enough people paying for it with Xbox Live Ultimate, there's no reason to be investing in a console anymore. It's done. It's done. All right? It's done. They'll put the Xbox app on a Fire TV. To meet the demands of getting Xbox on a TV, they won't make a console. They'll just be like, Xbox streaming app, Fire TV 3, here you go. Apple TV, here you go. And your Xbox app now is on the app, and that's how they get Xbox on the TV. They're not doing research and development for a $1 million piece of hardware they're going to try to sell for $400 or $500. Nah. Just put the app on those billions out there of Amazon Fire Sticks and Roku boxes. That's it, man. That's their future. At least that's the future that they've painted for me. There's no future, and I'm like, Xbox is making a comeback. Like other people will tell you. Because what is a comeback? What is it? And when you ask somebody that, they don't know. They're like, oh, well, it's Microsoft making money. No, that's not a comeback. Why do you bleed green still? What is your future look like? Is Xbox come back and kill Sony? Does it? First of all, they don't have a global audience for Xbox. Secondly, Phil says games everywhere. He's supporting the competitors. He has to pull out. He has to say, you know what? Give us a Zor back. They could have had an advantage over PlayStation now. What comeback? And exactly, Callie. People think, oh, just like PlayStation came back from the PlayStation 3, Xbox is going to come back. This was their down generation. No, man. They are down. They went down and out. They went down and out. And this is not doom and gloom. They are down and out. Okay? If you want to have blinders on and still support them, then fine for you. Hooray for you. But don't come on social media. Don't and try to rally up the troops, getting people false hope. Because it's the truth. There is nothing that they mention that has support to make you think that Xbox is going to come back like the PlayStation 4 came back from the PlayStation 3. In no world, under the current regime and the current practices that Phil Spencer's doing right now, there is no scenario where Xbox comes back in the way PlayStation 4 came back to give you amazing games, console exclusives, go. World dominance, go. No. Not with Game Pass, not with PC games, not with Steam, not with Windows 10. What is Xbox? What is it? What are you rooting for? What? That Phil Spencer gets a bonus? Is that a win? Does that make me go to FanFest and paint my hair green? Is that what it does? Because you look foolish cheering for a brand when they say the brand is not even the console anymore. What are you rooting for? What's the brand? What? The body wash? Who wants to cheer for a football team who doesn't want to play football anymore? You deserve better. Don't take it just because you're loyal to a brand. The brand is done. They've changed the game. It was UWP, it was DirectX 12, it was Windows 10, it was now Xbox Scorpio, and now it's Xbox Game Pass, and then it's Xbox xCloud. Like, come on. How many different brand changes are you going to change? How many? How many? And know what's going to happen game night about those studios. Wait. Exhibit A, Bleeding Edge. Oh, they'll deny, oh, that was in development before. Watch. Just watch. All those other studios that Microsoft has, watch. Watch the games that they release. Watch. They're going to be middle of the road, okie dokie, safe Game Pass games. And every single one that comes out, people will be like, oh, that's the B team. Listen, there's 100 people there. And they're making 3 and 4 games. Do your fucking math. Okay? Do your math. How many people are working on 3 and 4 games if there's 100 people there? 3 games, or the 33 people? There are 33 people. The B team is working on... The B team made Bleeding Edge. The A team is making the next Ninja Theory game. Ninja Theory is 100 people. So 20... So what? They're working on multiple projects. Do you understand how discrediting you give yourself when you say, oh, Ninja Theory is working on multiple projects? Do you know how to do math? If there's 100 people there and they're working on 3 and 4 games, how many teams is that? So you're telling me a team of 25, 30 people are making the next Uncharted blockbuster for Xbox? Did you watch Shout Out to Mog? Did you watch Raising Kratos? Did you see how many people it took to make that game? It wasn't 20 people in a closet. Okay? Exactly, Mog. Yeah, 343. They work on one game. There's 400 people. But Ninja Theory's making 3 and 4. Obsidian's working on the second RPG. Obsidian's 150 people big. So what? 75 are working on the Outer Worlds, and there's another 75 people? Again, just go watch a little bit of Raising Kratos and look how many people and what kind of work goes into making a Game of the Year game. The motion capture, the audio, the orchestra, the on-location captures and stuff. Look how many people it takes to make that type of budget game. And you're telling me that kind of budget spending to fly people to Norway and all that other... You think Microsoft is going to do that right now to put a game in a subscription where everybody's paying $1 or $10 a month? You think that kind of production, if you just watch it, look at the size of that studio, look what they're doing. You're telling me that God of War team, Microsoft is going to put that much money to develop one game to just put it in Game Pass in sometime in November without caveats? That's the key, without caveats, without some sort of episodic content, without some kind of monetization to get money back. Or will they do a God of War style? Well, yo, here's a $60 game, enjoy. No DLC, which they should have put DLC in it. No microtransactions, go. Traditional game, go. You think Microsoft's going to take that kind of money that they paid for God of War, remember, for the bankrupt Sony, and put that kind of money into a game that they're going to put in Game Pass where somebody can just be like, well, you know what? Well, I hope they like it. I hope they engage with the game. Like, you really think that? That's what I mean. There's no world right now where Microsoft is coming back. And that's the problem with this whole thing. I don't know what a win is. But when you don't have a finish line, how can you root for the race? There's no... What is the end game? What is the end game for Xbox? What is it? Does anybody talk about it? Streaming? That's the end game? Oh, Microsoft, everybody's doing it. No. I gotta get that clip. We're going streaking. No, nobody else is streaking. We're going up the quad. No, nobody else is streaking. I don't know what you're doing. Nobody else. Everybody else is doing exclusives. Nobody's running around naked saying we're going streaming. Everybody should play our games. What is the end game? And when you think about what Microsoft's end game is, and you're a core Xbox gamer, think about what would satisfy you. And again, if they delivered amazing, great, high-quality games to you, this would have never been an issue. But since there's a drought, since there's been no games in the last 3 years and they've been tripping over themselves with their messaging, every action that they do, every statement that they make holds more and more weight, and everything that they're saying has nothing to do with the Xbox core owner. All you do is getting hand-me-downs. They're making it for the Big Daddy PC games, and you're lucky that you're getting the fixins. So, if Sony comes out and says all our games, and that's the thing, people are like, oh, Sony's gonna do it too. You want to know what? Better be careful what you wish for, Because guess what? If Sony says, hey, we're doing a day and date our games in a service, Game Pass, guess what? That PlayStation Game Pass, just the content alone, will destroy whatever's left of Xbox. Because Sony has the IP. They have the games. So if Sony just says, hey, we're doing a subscription service, Sony PlayStation Plus Elite, you know, hey, pay us $25 a month and you'll get all our first party games in PlayStation Plus. Ouch. So you better not say, oh, Sony's doing the same thing Microsoft's doing. Because as soon as Sony does it, whatever Microsoft's doing is done. Because Sony's going to be putting Gods of War in there, Uncharted, Horizon 2s, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man 2s, just sequels to the games that we know. Imagine what we don't know. So you don't want the competition to do the same thing Microsoft's doing. What you need to do is tell Phil Spencer to get off his ass and start talking to the hardcore gamer and talking to the console gamer, because they're the ones that keep the lights on and they're the ones that they need. See, that's the thing that you guys don't realize out there. Phil needs you more than you need him. He needs you. You start not subscribing to Xbox Live and those engagement numbers go down, that's his ass. He needs you guys because you play the most and spend the most. And as soon as you guys realize that he needs you, you will start seeing more action from them. Because when he hears everybody loves him, loves Phil, he thinks he's doing a great job. He thinks he could sit and do an E3 like he did. He could just be safe. Oh, I'm happy about what we didn't show. Trust me, if his ass was on the firing block and the Phil Defense Force didn't exist, he would feel more pressure to know that he has to show more games at E3. And you don't have time to play it safe. He needs you. You don't need him. Just like he said in this thing, oh, everybody loves head of Xbox. When I'm gone, they will love the next head of Xbox. Because it's about of a product. It's a head of a product that you like. Don't need him. He needs your wallet. He needs your money. You're the consumer. You tell them what you want.
It has been 6 years since the game in Grindhouse opened its fire doors. Let's take a look back at some classics.